Thanks, Wes. And in other news, the Alpine Energy Group has come into some criticism lately. Recently, News Channel 8's Wes Small caught up with St. Croix Environmental Director Paul Shackroff to talk about it.
One of the controversial subjects going on nowadays on all the talk shows and so forth is the energy situation about Alpine and about trash to energy. Paul Shackroff is the director of St. Croix Environmental Association. Let's find out their take on this situation. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, Wes, thank you very much. The St. Croix Environmental Association, certainly on the surface, is very interested in seeing a solution to our solid waste problem. And this, on the surface, looks like it may be helpful in that area. There are a number of very serious concerns that we have, though, and so we're looking at the details with regard to the waste-to-energy plant that's proposed for the South Shore of St. Croix, and then, for that matter, the one over on St. Thomas. One of those is the placement on the St. Croix plant right in a wetland, and that's the first issue. Secondly, we're concerned about the estimates for the amount of energy that would be derived from the waste stream and how much we might be dependent upon the pet coke. We don't want to see this as a wolf in sheep's clothing, that being a pet coke plant and a waste-to-energy clothing. We're concerned about the air quality for sure. I mean, once you start burning waste products and burning pet coke has got a very high sulfur content. There's hazardous air pollutants, there's nitrous oxide, sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide, and just a number of issues that we need to look at, and we need to take a serious look at those issues.
That doesn't sound good.
Well, that's what the problem is. We don't know. There's also recycling. We don't know how much sorting there's going to be prior to it's going into the plant, how much is going to be burnt, and whether we might be able to get an economic benefit of some of the recycling of those products before they go into the waste stream. The thing is that we have asked WAPA for a specific detailed report so that we can really analyze it, and then we will compare the information that we get from their proposed plant proposal with, for example, a waste-to-energy plant that was put in Hartford, Connecticut 16 years ago. Right after it was put in, there were tremendous problems with odor and air pollutants. $15 million later, the community in Hartford seems to be very happy with their waste-to-energy plant. There's a pet coke plant. There are two plants in Jacksonville, Florida that are burning pet coke. We need to study those. We need to compare, what has been the experience in Jacksonville, Florida, and Hartford, Connecticut, with the proposed design features on the one that's coming into St. Croix and St. Thomas. Once we have that information, then we'll be able to really assess and evaluate what the potential problems might be with this plant. It may be great. It may be a disaster, and right now we just don't have the facts, and that's what we're trying to find out from WAPA.
Well, knowing you and knowing your past history, we'll have those facts within a few weeks. So we know you're going stateside, and our condolences for some personal issues that you're facing. But other than that, we know you've got some dynamite researchers in sea. So with that, the ball is in your court, and thank you for protecting us and the environment. News Channel 8 will be with you all the way. Paul Shackroff, Sea Director.
Thank you, Wes.
I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
Thanks, Wes. And your Caribbean report is up next. Stay with us on News Channel 8. Let's take a look at your Caribbean report for tonight. We start in Havana, Cuba, where an appearance of a fit and alert Fidel Castro on television after a long absence has surprised Cubans and raised questions about why the former Cuban president is suddenly back in the spotlight. In Caracas, Venezuela, Venezuela may modify its foreign exchange controls to create 4 different exchange rates to help the government deal with a drop in the oil revenue. The BBO Financial Service Incorporated said President Hugo Chavez is considering a proposal to maintain the current official exchange rate of 2.15. In Georgetown, Guyana, the Minister of Agriculture, Robert Prasad, has confirmed that there is no definitive or conclusive scientific evidence that the black satoga, a yeast disease affecting plantain and banana plants, is in Guyana. The revelation, along with the decision to reopen the borders crossing. Finally, Usain Bolt added a piece of the Berlin Wall to his haul of the world's records and titles at the World Track and Field Championship, which closed Sunday with the U.S. atop the medal standing. Bolt dominated the 9-day event by shattering his own 100-meter and 200-meter marks. And that's your Caribbean report for tonight. And recently a tour was done by Public Works to add to the deplorable road situation in the Scenic Road area. Let's take a look.
We're here now located at the entrance to Scenic Road East here on the island of St. Croix, where the Department of Public Works, working in conjunction with our federal highway partners, we're going to get ready to embark on an improvement project here that will see the start of repairs to this much deteriorated section of roadway here on the Scenic Road. Here with me is John Paul of our Federal Highway Division, who will be able to get, John Paul Taylor, excuse me, who will be able to give you much more details in the work efforts that are going to be ongoing here. John?
Thanks so much. Very briefly, the work that is proposed to be done on Scenic Road would be the installation of guardrails to improve the safety on the roadway, installation of drainage. As you see, we have obvious problems with drainage. We would be improving the pavement in the very worst areas of the roadway. The road would then be completed with an overlay, striped, and appropriate signs would be placed for speed limits and so on.
To highlight some of the details, the work efforts here is approximately 6,000 feet of roadway here at the start of the easternmost portion of Scenic Road. The entire Scenic Road is approximately 15 miles, of which we have begun on the most western portion of it. We have done some surveying to assess how we would reconstruct or construct a new roadway in this area. As we said, this just this 6,000 feet of roadway is approximately $2.8 million worth of work. So when we do the math, we are talking about an extensive project. So the department foresees that at someday in short order, we'll be able to achieve the entire roadway. We will have to do it in sections, in various phases. So this is the first phase. And as additional funds become available, we're going to continue our work efforts so we can one day complete the entire Scenic Road from the Salt River area all the way west to Frederickston.
And sad news to report tonight. Longtime St. Croix director David Richards gave his final curtain call on Saturday, August 22nd, at the age of 73. David has been entertaining St. Croix since the late 70s at the Airport Inn Theater, the Strand Street Theater, the Buccaneer Hotel, and an annual performance of the Nutcracker at the Point Dance Academy and the current home of the Caribbean Community Theater, of which he was a founding member. Last month, Richards directed the wildly entertaining Sordid Lives. Mr. Richards was an extraordinary director and an accomplished pianist. He worked with the likes of Janis Joplin, Gil Nilsson, David Carradine, Richard Chamberlain, and Paya Zora. Though a consummate professional who once taught a master class for Juilliard and judged auditions at the Metropolitan Opera in New York, Mr. Richards loved St. Croix and directing amateur theater at CCT most. Mr. Richards also was the founding artistic director for the Stowe Theater Guild in Stowe, Vermont, and for many years spent his summers in Vermont and the remainder of his time on St. Croix. But for the past 5 years, he called St. Croix his permanent home. He's survived by his surrogate sister, entertainer Vivian Lord, and his theater families on St. Croix and Vermont. A memorial tribute for Mr. Richards will be announced at a later date.